good afternoon or good morning, which depending on what part of the country you're here from. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you for being part of this special webinar where we're going to discuss UL Solutions Technical Evaluation Developer Program. We have a pretty good hour ahead of us that I think you're going to be interested in and enjoy. So we're going to start with Matt Schumann from UL. He's going to provide some information, education on what the Technical Evaluation Developer Program is all about and those kind of things. And then following that, we're going to have a panel discussion with two of the companies and two representatives that have already gone through this program and kind of hear from them, hear what that experience is like, why they chose to do it, and those kind of things. And at the end of that, we will have a Q&A session. So if you have your questions, you can type those into the box and we will answer those at the end. Again, thank you for joining us. At this time, I'm going to turn this over to Matt Schumann. I'll let him introduce himself, tell us a little bit about him, and then I'll let him get right into telling us all about the Technical Evaluation Developer Program. Matt Schumann, thank you for being here. Tell us about you, and the floor is yours.
Well, thank you, Aaron, for the introduction. My name is Matt Schumann. I work with UL Solutions in the fire resistance and fire containment business in North America. So working with everything from fire stopping to fire doors and steel protection, among other things. Been at UL close to 25 years and have worked with many different customers, worked with various industry groups, including the IFC and other groups in the steel door and hardware manufacturing industries. And grateful to IFC for the opportunity to bring to everybody today our new Technical Evaluation Developer Program. This is a service that we've been working on for several years to develop and launch. And over the next maybe 15 minutes or so, we'll give everybody an introduction to what it is. So some of the things we'd like to do is give you an overview. What is the program? What does it include? Where the program came from? What's involved with that program? What are some benefits that we see for code authorities? How do people, what requirements companies and individuals meet for recognition? There's some frequently asked questions. And then finally, where to find some more information. And one additional nice surprise for everybody today on the webinar. So this, it's a lengthy title, Technical Evaluation Developer Program, but it's something new. So what is it? So the Technical Evaluation Developer Program effectively is us offering, UL Solutions offering our customers the ability in the Firestop industry to go through a management system qualification program. And a management system qualification program is focused on creation of technical evaluations. That term may be new to some people, but it's, if you will, a synonym for the term engineering judgment, is that it's a technical opinion given by a manufacturer regarding a product that they make, how to use that product, and what that product could be determined or judged by engineering rationale as to what it could potentially do, providing fire protection, hourly ratings, and other things. The Technical Evaluation Developer Program is something that really is intended to strive to improve the technical content of technical evaluations, is to provide a better quality of engineering decisions for fire stopping products and systems, to help build many of the concepts that we see in, say, the IFC engineering judgment guidelines, and providing a method to improve on that and improve the quality and improve the consistency and the technical content of those documents. In particular, this service has been focused on customers of UL Solutions who utilize UL Solutions for the testing, certification, or notified body or conformity assessment services for various types of fire stopping products, which is arrangement includes fire stopping, linear joints or joint systems, ducts, and perimeter fire containment. So why is this program coming about, and why is it doing it? Why are we doing it now? What we've found is that there's a key gap in training and quality, that with technical evaluations, there's perceptions about how good the technical evaluation or engineering judgment is, and this was identified by UL Solutions in meetings with industry participants. So many clients across the fire stopping industry come and talk to UL frequently about what's going right, what's going wrong. We did a lot of research and working through organizations and attending meetings by the International Fire Stop Council and other organizations that are working in the fire stopping industry. And when it comes down to it, between customers and other feedback is that technical evaluations are and will continue to be a needed tool for the fire stopping industry, that they are frequently used and they are a very important item. So we don't want to do away with them, but how can we make them better? And that's one of the things why those gaps in training and quality were raised, is that if we want to make these documents better, we have to look at those two topics. So what's involved with a company looking to become a technical evaluation developer and be part of the program at UL Solutions? So one item is that service providers have to show and demonstrate technical competency. That technical competency must include competency of the products, how they're made, what they do, how they can be used, how they're evaluated, test standards, and supporting items that are pertinent to fire resistant construction and best practices and test standards for fire resistant construction. And finally, certification for fire containment products and systems. So how do you make the product? How do you test the product? How do you certify the product? And the information that goes and supports all of that. So we expect somebody who writes a technical evaluation to have knowledge on these topics. It includes a rigorous management quality system. So we really want people producing technical evaluations to produce the documents in a uniform way and in a uniform process consistently, so the documents are consistent. It also includes random sampling. So not only are we looking at the quality management scheme that people use to produce the documents, how they manage the workflows, how they manage their technical competencies, but then there's also always the potential that a technical evaluation can be randomly selected and taken into the laboratory for additional fire testing and evaluation. In the case of products we see in North America or in the US, that would be UL 1479 or UL 2079 or ASTME 2307. All become testable items. And participants then can rely on Product IQ, UL's online database, to provide evidence of program participation and completion requirements. So companies that participate in the program gain a listing once they successfully meet all the competencies, all the quality management pieces, and then we publish it online so that there's a way for anybody to go into the Product IQ, confirm that a company participates in the program. What do we see as benefits for code authorities? We see a few, is that we feel that this quality management system is something that is well positioned to focus on fire and life safety to support code compliance issues involving passive fire protection. The code authorities should gain support from the increased quality of the technical evaluations. It can raise expectations of what industry can provide and provide better content and thus more uniform content. Raising and addressing some of the issues seen by industry in certain markets and certain places about the quality of what's out there. It can help improve code compliance, provide for better installation and construction practices. We know that technical evaluations, are, as stated before, are a needed tool, but also how do we gain some knowledge of what's being done so we can improve standards, so we can improve certification processes, how can we improve testing? And some of the information gained could potentially allow UL Solutions to work with participating companies as well as our stakeholders to look at how we can improve standards or improve certification. It also has a focus on fire and life safety compliance. So that should improve occupant and first responder safety. Then it should also, over time, increase the number of tested listed fire stop systems. Part of the program, and a really integral part of the program, is that where possible, if you see that technical evaluation being written regularly and routinely over and over, is that we want the participants as part of their quality management system to look at what they're writing and then either through testing or evaluation, formally document that. So as stuff comes up, you're not writing the same evaluation, and you're taking those same evaluations that have been run several times and turning that into a system that people can find, whether you're a contractor, a specifier, a life safety professional, or a code or regulatory entity, that you can see a transition from a written document to a published, listed, certified system. What do customers need to do to participate in the program? So we have a couple of things that they absolutely must demonstrate. Is we want people to have comprehensive knowledge on the testing, evaluation, and certification schemes for fire stops, both through internal and external means. We want people to know the requirement of fire containment product systems and products, how they work, why they work, what's the technology behind them, what's the test data behind them. So one of the key things with the technical evaluation program is it's currently limited to people that use UL solutions for certification, because we want people that are involved in the testing and certification to have the ability to write evaluations on their product and move that back to where there's some generally knowledge and expertise that sometimes is not always found outside of the manufacturer. The technical evaluation program increases the level of scrutiny for technical evaluations because it has specific requirements that we have for participation in the program. You have to take examinations. So people writing technical evaluations have to take a exam hosted by UL Solutions to test them on their knowledge. You have to score 80% or better on that exam to be considered passing. That 80% is consistent with pass-fail criteria for other professional exams and other schemes and other areas. So you have people testing. Everybody that writes a technical evaluation has to get that 80% score on the exam. We have exams that are focused on US and Canadian / North American practices. We have an exam that is focused on European and UK building practices. So depending where you're at in the world and depending what products you work with and what they use, we're trying to build testing out to match. You need to have robust audits. So we have trained field staff that are going to go audit facilities, go through the quality management manuals, ask people to demonstrate how they follow the manual, how they do their management reviews. If there's any non-compliances, those have to be documented. People are going to have to come back and determine a compliance method of how to get back in compliance with the scheme and provide those comments back to us. And then we agree, or we may need to audit again to make sure that everything is taken care of. And as I said before, then we also go into the laboratory. We take and randomly select evaluation concepts based on what's submitted to us by the participants. And then we take and validate those technical evaluations through actually running tests in the laboratory. So we have testing of people, we have auditing of a scheme, and we have testing of actual products, which are three very good foundations for us to base the program on. So to move into some frequently asked questions on this is that manufacturers who are enrolled in this program will have their name published in the UL Solutions Product IQ tool. They'll have a name, address, they'll have geographical area of their expertise, North America or Europe. And in some cases, they'll also have some limitations depending on how or what products they work with and what products and what types of products, such as fire stops or perimeter fire containment, that they have been audited for by UL Solutions. What's the criteria for laboratory testing? The criteria is that we randomly select evaluations across different product types and solutions, make sure we get representation. We'll work with the client to indicate what we want testing. They are given a period of time to work with the laboratory to set up a test program or to get projects open to work through these tests. And then we want them to conduct the tests. So that's a big piece of this. One of the questions people have asked of us in the early days of this program, if we talk to various audiences, what happens if a laboratory test of a selected system fails? What we will do is give the test sponsor the opportunity to review the test and resubmit for additional testing, provided that they demonstrate what they're going to change or how they think they can affect the test result and do something differently. It gives them a chance to further develop their solution. Does this UL Solutions program require evaluations with specific information and details? What is specifically required? We do require specific information and details. A lot of this is based upon documents such as the IFC Engineering Judgment Guidelines. You know, what information is there, details, installation conditions, something that identifies the project location, either by name or by file number or by correspondence, the materials used, and then what ratings are expected for the hourly rating and other Firestop ratings for such as temperature ratings, leakage, movement, water. That would be part of the written documents. Do we intend to review the technical content? No. UL Solutions does not necessarily review the technical content. We're reviewing how people produce the documents, how they manage their quality scheme. Content review is really outside of the scope of the program. Where we pick up on the technical content is in the random selection of technical evaluations written when we bring them into the lab for evaluation. Do we intend to publish non-conforming tests? With the UL Solutions Technical Evaluation Program, the results from non-conforming tests are proprietary, just like any new work certification that we do for a customer when they develop a new product. And there is no intention to disseminate them, publish them, or make them available. Program requirements. Can I see those? Or can you, as somebody attending today's webinar, how can you find those? If you go to ul.com and you search for the Technical Evaluation Program in the search field at ul.com, the service page and program requirements are available as a PDF. The PDF for the program requirements can be downloaded and anybody can look at it. So if you'd like to find more information about the Technical Evaluation Program outside of this introduction we're doing today, which again, thank you to IFC for allowing us this opportunity to bring the program to everybody in your webinar series. We do have a number of things here. We have the service page at ul.com. There are some frequently asked questions that are available through our code authorities portion of our website. And then as always in Product IQ, there is definitely information in the category WYGB, which is where we're listing companies participating in the program. So the last thing I'd like to share today is that something that's going to be coming soon is that the companies participating in this program are going to be eligible to use this promotional badge in their marketing literature and collateral about participation in the program. And this is only available to those companies working with UL Solutions that have been set up in the program. They're going to get this very nice marketing badge that indicates what they're doing. And you'll be able to see this soon in several of the companies that were actually on today's webinar. So with that, Aaron, that's the end of my presentation. I'm going to turn it over to you, Matt, and Julio for the next step, the next part of it.
All right, thank you, Matt. I appreciate that. Thank you for sharing. Let me switch our screens here. Get our cameras turned on. Matt and Julio, I'll let you guys turn your cameras on, and we'll get started with the panel roundtable discussion portion of today's webinar.
Hey, good
Cool.
afternoon.
So Good afternoon. Thank you guys both for joining us. I'll tell the people that are our viewers. My name's Aaron. I'm the the executive director for the International Firestop Council. So my role here today is just to moderate our panel and our discussion. And today we have with us Julio Lopez and Matthew Winston. These two gentlemen are here because their companies have gone through the TEDP and they've got accredited and been going through that process. And so we wanted to bring them on so they can share firsthand, what that process is like, and what that's done for them and the value of it and those kind of things. So I will let each of them introduce themselves briefly. So if each of you would tell us a little bit about yourself and then tell us a little bit about how you were the ones from your companies to get chosen to be involved in this program and why that is. So Julio, we'll start with you. Tell us a bit about your title, who you are, what you do, and then a little brief introduction of yourself. Then Matt, you can follow up.
Sure. Well, good afternoon again, everyone. Julio Lopes. I'm the Director of Fire Testing and Engineered Solutions at Specified Technologies. I've been with the company since 2001, and I'm currently responsible for testing and certification for STI. I'm also the main MAR, or the Manufacturer's Authorized Representative for the ULTDP. Been involved with this program from the beginning. Basically worked with UL to set it up. And took all the steps necessary to make sure that we were compliant with the program requirements. And at this point, I just continue to be involved, overseeing the training, the testing, and the auditing.
Awesome, thank you. Matt, tell us about yourself.
Yeah, Matthew Winston. I've been with Hilti since 2015, and I have the privilege of leading our fire protection engineering and testing teams. This is where my involvement with the UL program comes in because our engineering team is the folks who write the technical evaluations. So I was there at the beginning of the program and then took over predecessor Angela Nipa, who actually helped implement the program for our team.
Awesome, good. Well, we will get right into the questions. Pull up my presentation here. There we go. All right. So this first one, Matt, I'll let you take the lead on this one, and then Julio, you can fill in any gaps or anything as well and jump in. But Matt, why did your company decide to pursue the TEDP?
Yeah, the two key reasons, one of them that Matt Schumann mentioned earlier was looking at how to improve the standards through awareness of what sort of engineering judgments / evaluations are being written. Many times as manufacturers, we're asked to address scenarios that might not currently have a pathway to listing. Mass timber is a great example of that, where we had testing pretty early on in that process and then had to work with our certification agencies in order to bring listings to life. The second reason is that as Hilti, we really want to promote ASTM and UL standards globally. And we have a robust building code that other markets can refer to, and we have very well-written standards. But engineering judgments are such a big part of Firestop that we thought it would be very beneficial to have some documentation to show the quality of engineering judgment writing that occurs in North America and help other markets adopt that very quickly and ensure safety and compliance in those ASTM standards.
Right, thank you. Julio, do you have anything to add to that?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, there's lots of reasons, but I mean, the main reason for us was that we just wanted to raise the bar for the EJs in general. If we raise the bar and there's better acceptance, then obviously it's going to benefit everyone. It's just not possible or practical to test everything or to get systems for everything. And I know out there at times there's a bit of frustration. People just think that we could just bring out everything, but it's really impossible to predict what people are going to do out there or what architects are going to dream up next. I think perimeter fire containment is a good example. Every building is different. And so, even though there's hundreds of listings, we really, can't have every single condition. So we do have, a lot covered, and we can use that information to, do the engineering judgments. And so that's why it's so important that we basically make sure that there's companies like us that you know, are doing this, and so this, the hope is that people have a you know, they really accept these and trust the engineering judgments. And so it kind of just helps construction. It helps the whole process.
All right, excellent. So the next question, Julio, I'll let you take the lead on this one. How do you think the TEDP will benefit the construction industry at large? And when we say construction industry, we're referring to, and broadly, specifiers, designers, contractors, code officials, those kind of things.
So the program is designed to emphasize on tested and listed systems, first and foremost. EJs have a place, obviously, like as I just mentioned, but there's many issues, you know, many things that can't be done. And so, you know, we you know, while we're catching up with the testing, we do these EJs. We also look for these EJs for, you know, as inspiration for testing, as Matt mentioned earlier. So when those EJs are issued, the project stakeholders need to have the confidence in the company providing the solution. So again, by subscribing to TDP, the hope is that ultimately people, you know, have a more and more trust in all this. So ultimately, the program will also increase the number of systems. So I think that's going to benefit, you know, the industry as a whole. Yeah, that's basically it.
All right, thank you, Matt. You have anything to add to that?
Yeah, the visibility into what goes into making an engineering judgment, I think, is really nice for people who are interested, AHJs who are interested, because there's quite a lot of Firestop systems, and consequently, there's quite a lot of engineering judgments that are written. It's quite a big part of passive fire protection. So to be able to go somewhere and look and understand what we as manufacturers and program participants do, how we invest in order to make sure that we're giving the right technical evaluations, I think is quite a benefit and should increase confidence overall in those engineering judgments that are issued, and of course the testing and listings that are already available.
Yeah, just one more thing also. I mean, this isn't easy, right? This whole program is a bit of a pain, and I think it's good, you know, because we definitely want to make sure that, you know, it raises the bar, like what I said. So, you know, that there's definitely a lot that goes into it, and so, you know, it's not just a, you know, a check the box type of a thing. You know, there's some teeth to this thing, and now, you know, when people are issuing EJs, they're thinking about, hey, this could potentially be picked. You know, my name's on it, and I think that kind of changes, you know, the way we look at things.
That's interesting. Good. All right, this next question, I'll let you take the lead on, Matt. It's kind of a two-parter, but what benefits do you think the TEDP brings to your company, but also to your technical evaluation and engineering judgment teams?
I think just the awareness level. So when we talk about any engineering discipline, you want a healthy talent pool, and many people who come to Firestop come to it for the first time. So this program again helps highlight how critical this effort is to the construction industry, to passive fire protection, and again that there is quite a high bar that's set for it. At the same time, it helped document things that we had been doing for quite a few years, as far as the training and a selection of the people that we have doing these engineering judgments. And it also helped us with our software initiatives. We do many of these a year, tens of thousands. And as you can imagine, it takes some software effort to track the engineering judgment, the attributes of that engineering judgment, the company we did it for, so on and so forth. And it kind of happened all at the same time. So it really helped push us as an organization to confirm we were headed in the right direction with the investments in people, the investments in software and technology, so that way we could scale the number of judgments that are done while maintaining the integrity and the quality of these details.
Thank you. Julio, anything to add?
Yeah, absolutely. I echo exactly what Matthew's saying. We pretty much had to do the same thing, and we definitely refined some things. We also took it as an opportunity to get feedback from our EJ writers and from our CAD operators, and kind of implement little changes in our processes. We took it as an opportunity to streamline things. We did update our software also, based on all those that feedback. But the beauty of the program as a whole is that it benefits everyone. At STI, we're really proud to say that we're part of this program, and I believe that anyone that participates will be proud too. It's a real cool thing. It's something that I think has been a long time coming. Program will also ultimately reduce the number of EJs, which I think is super important. Hopefully, and hopefully it'll shift more of a focus to tested and listed systems, which those EJs will hopefully convert to those. We always looked at EJs for inspiration, like I said, but I think what this program does too is it kind of forces or mandates that people do that, which I think is really important. And again, it just inspires more confidence in the industry, and I think it's really nice, really good to see.
Excellent. Julio, I'll let you take the lead on this question here. Why should a design firm or contractor look for a Firestop manufacturer who has gone through the TEDP process?
Well, I think it's simple. The UL TEDP participation signals a higher level of reliability, quality, and technical expertise. UL is a globally recognized safety and science organization, so who better to administer a program like this, right? EJs produced by the program participants are more likely to meet or exceed code requirements, giving AHJs and inspectors greater confidence. It also provides risk reduction, and both designers and contractors are always concerned with risk and liability. UL TEDP is a mark of Firestop manufacturers' commitment to excellence, safety, and performance. So I think these are qualities that any reputable design firm or contractor should prioritize.
Matt, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, it's fantastic points from Julio, and really it gives a clear indication that program participant is committed to the design of proper fire stop systems and passive fire protection. The steps that we go through are really for the benefit of our customers and then end users, people who will be in the building. And we take every opportunity we can to make sure that the fire stop systems out there help increase life safety. So maybe also thinking about what Matt Schumann said earlier is there's really three pieces of a certification of this. There's the product certification and the listing certification. In order for us to participate in this program, we have to have products that are UL certified, and we have to have systems that are UL listed. And so now bringing some guardrails over to how the engineering judgments are done, helping make it visible as far as the quality management system, it really covers all three areas to where you know that the products are audited and there is efforts to ensure compliance and performance with the products that we manufacture. The systems have gone through testing and engineering judgments that we use the listings for as a basis for design also follow a quality process. So it's quite a high level of commitment that we have and that we'll continue to have with those folks who reach out to us in support of Firestop.
Awesome, very good. All right, those were the planned questions. So now we're going to have a time of Q&A from our participants. If anyone has a question, you can submit that, type that out to the question box there. We have a couple that are in already. Let me read through a few of these. We actually have a lot that have come in. Right. Here's one. This may be one for you, Matt Schumann. The question is, how can you differentiate between an EJ issued by a company accredited by the program and one that is not? Anybody
Well,
can jump in, but whoever. Go ahead, Matt.
Yeah,
Sorry.
so anybody that's in the program, in our UL Solutions program, is going to be able to be searched and found for in the Product IQ tool under authorized service providers. There'll be a link for Technical Evaluation Developer Program. Only those companies that show up in that link would be recognized by us as being active in the program.
Yeah, and I think just to echo what Matt said, sometimes we might want to zoom in on the engineering judgment itself. However, this is a company and organization qualification. So if you see an engineering judgment from an organization maybe you're unfamiliar with, it's pretty simple to follow the steps that Matt Schumann outlined to see whether or not that company is a TEDP participant. And I should also say, if they are a participant, then all of their EJs fall under the program guidelines.
Good point.
Let me see. Let's see here. How can you prevent an HJ from accepting a modified system without use of this program? Is UL going to update the guide information for Firestop categories to require that changes to a listed system can only be permitted through a listee of this program?
At this moment, we do not have plans to change the guide cards or the listing informations. The program is limited to people that work with UL. However, we have not set requirements on listings or HJs, but we will be educating. So some of the slides you've seen tonight and today are slides that we're sharing with our codes and regulatory services team at UL Solutions, and they're going to be discussing the program and sharing what we shared today with people across the country in the upcoming months and year. So, but no, we do not plan to have people change items unless, as we noted in the quality management system, people like Julio or Matt, and as their companies representatives come to UL and say, we have looked at what we've done this year, we need to make some changes, and they'll sponsor those changes and work through those either through testing or their evaluation as they do frequently, and many of our other customers do frequently, as systems and listings are always live documents and continually change.
So one thing that I want to point out is that this is not a requirement. You know, this program is an optional program, but it obviously, you know, it's like I said before, this is not an easy thing. There's a significant, you know, price, you know, associated with this, both in time and just overall, right? It's a huge commitment. And so the idea obviously is we're giving this option to the industry. If you guys want to have greater confidence and get your EJs and obviously everything that we've been speaking about from the beginning of the webinar, that's what you get with the program. But it's not something that is being forced. And obviously the authority having jurisdiction is going to have the ability to make that call. But really it's, you know, it's a life safety thing. We are raising the bar. And by doing that, the hope is that everybody that's serious about this and really wants to do a good job is going to kind of flock to this.
And I really think what we're trying to do is add something that adds value to the infrastructure of fire stopping. There's plenty of testing and certification work that goes on. There's now widespread fire stop inspection that happens. And of course, the growth of contractors specializing in fire stopping who have gained their own credentials in the past 15 to 20 years is that the purpose of a program like this is to help fill and support other aspects of fire stopping, whether it's inspection, testing and certification to a certain extent, and then the contractors and people that put the work in place. This is intended to help provide additional resources to those different parts of the fire stopping ecosystem.
Yeah, and I like all that, you know, the words additional, enhance, raise the bar, not replace. So we recognize that there are other methods for designing towards life safety on a building. There are professional engineer designs. There are sometimes project engineers that actually look at a project holistically, not just listing by listing, to make sure that life safety is achieved. So we don't want to displace any of that. This is really something that works in conjunction when we have engineering judgments, when we have listings, excuse me, when we have a scenario that does not match a listing. But even listings themselves can be quite complicated. So we don't want to displace the other design work and the other professional work that goes on in buildings. We just want to enhance this portion, this tool that those designers and folks responsible for bringing buildings to life have when it comes to Firestop.
Very good. Just going through a few more questions here. Quite a few on general question on EJs. I kind of want to focus our conversation just specifically on the TEDP. We do have a lot of information on engineering judgments and specifically at our website, firestop.org, and we can follow up with some of those questions after this webinar. Here's another one. What are some of the changes that you had to make to your internal technical evaluation or engineering judgment development and issuance procedures to meet the requirements of this program?
Yeah, I can go first. I know for us, we had to document what we call peer review. So for many years, there's a review process for engineers, and there's multiple eyes on any engineering judgment that goes out. But we had to document that and bring that to life, and also enhance it by taking a look at, are we asking the right questions when it comes to each evaluation that we write. So that was a big change.
Yeah, it's funny.
What do you have to add?
Yeah, it was the same thing. We more or less had to do the same thing. We more or less had the groundwork. We had the necessary things to kind of meet the program, but it was the documentation part, making sure that we made the auditing process easier, that we were consistent, like those types of things is really what we had to work on. But the peer review part was definitely one of those things. Putting a manual that kind of, had all of that and then all of the changes that I mentioned before, those little tweaks, those things that we ended up doing, basically documenting that, and then, kind of figuring out a process on how we do update and track all of those things going forward. So it's, like I said, it's, at times you wish that somebody would just hand you a manual and you just follow it, but the problem is that that's really not practical, right? Every business is different, and ST has been doing this for a long time and doing it well, but it's like now we need to comply to this program, and basically we had to take a look at all of the things that we did and make sure that it fell in line with the program requirements, and the big part of it was that documentation piece.
And I think it's important that people understand that there's a set of requirements, and each organization can comply with those and choose the way to comply with those program requirements. They're required to create their manual, they're required to comply, but they determine that method. So I think what we've seen is that it's some tremendous work and time and effort to look at the framework of what you currently do, how you need to put that against the program requirements that we're putting on participants, and how you take steps to get from where you're at today to where you want to be within the program. And it's not, as both Matt and Julio have pointed out, it's not been an easy lift. It's something that takes time and effort and support. So it's decisions the people going into this program are making them with a lot of serious thought, because it is a rigorous program. It is not an easy program. And they're doing it because of the need and their perceived need to improve the quality of what goes on in an industry that's key to both of them. And other people, these gentlemen have been part of the program, and their company's been part of the program now but there's other people in industry that have helped us provide feedback, facilitate how to develop this, that also played a huge role in making sure that the program was consistent with what the industry needed, rigorous enough to challenge them, and enough to where it is something that there's a threshold you have to meet to join. So, and it'll continue to be so too.
Good. Here's a good question. So should one of these, when you're testing these EJs as part of the program, if one of those fails, how does this affect the project for which the EJ was issued and the listing or systems that were referenced?
Yeah, I think the first just comes to raising awareness. So as I said, we have all the information necessary to reach out to the original requester and inform them of any deviations from the design. We haven't had that happen yet, but what has happened is, as we've had to test, we've actually gone back and validated some of the information on the engineering judgment. You know, for those familiar with submitting engineering judgments, there's sometimes a practice to try and maybe, let's say, envelope what you have. So you might have a specific scenario, but maybe we'll increase the pipe size or annular space or opening size just in case there's another opening. And what we find is that when we follow up and ask for more information, sometimes the EJ is not so broad. So that is something that's happened. But we have the means to reach out to individuals, and I'll say it's happened even before this program, where we have AHJs who desire testing, even of listed systems sometimes, and we have to go back and revalidate that performance and then decide if it's a system issue or an installation issue or many of the other things that could come up on a job site.
Yeah, well said. You know, we haven't had anything like that happen either, and obviously, you know, we would address it if it did. But overall, you know, we take this very seriously, and you know, we're fairly conservative with our engineering judgments. And the way that we address this with our EJ writers is that, you know, we obviously part of the training is that they need to think about the fact that these things may get tested. And so that's the big part of it. Is we really make sure that we do the best that we can, and we use the existing testing information to provide those engineering judgments or TEs.
And if I can add one more thing, it kind of goes along the question of, you know, even when we do test, you know, people ask, well, how many times do we test? There's some applications, for example, metallic pipe through a concrete floor with FS1 Max, that we've tested in many different ways, you know, hundreds of times. There's other things that are new. Again, mass timber, aluminum pipe, different insulation types. For those engineering judgments, for things that are new that we're less familiar with, we are much more restrictive in what we can do because the data that we have is much more restrictive. For other cases where we have a robust set of data, even in the case that something does happen, there's actually a way to remediate that, perhaps add or modify the Firestop system at minimum impact. But really just think about, maybe if you're one to submit an engineering judgment, is this a common application or is this something completely new? That will in turn affect, I would say, the severity of the engineering judgment you get. You might not have the desired solution. You might not be able to do sealant only. It might require a device, so on and so forth. So we really try and make sure that we increase the severity of an EJ where there's less data available.
Excellent. Excellent. All right, here's a question that's kind of a two-parter. Have any jurisdictions adopted or mandated this program so far? And how can we get the word out to AHJs about this program and its value and those type of things? So it's kind of a two-part. Have any jurisdictions adopted it, and how can we start to get the word out about this program and what it is and the value that it adds and brings?
So I'll start with that, Aaron, is that we have, and we do intend to make this one of the topics that our codes and regulatory team talks about as they travel and visit with different code and regulatory entities this year and over the next probably couple years, to be honest. We have already been doing some outreach on this in different jurisdictions from various places. And while we don't have anything firm right now, we anticipate that there will be some jurisdictions that have already showed high interest in this program, and it will probably start showing up in a few places within, I don't know, maybe the next 6 months to a year, both domestically and globally.
That's great. Thank you. Well, I want to, we only have a few minutes left, so I want to give just a couple more minutes maybe to Matthew and Julio and the other Matt as well. Do you guys have any final words, anything that you want to close with, maybe something that we didn't discuss or something that you thought of this time that you want to close with? So we'll start with Matt Schuman, and then we'll work our way around. So Matt, any final words, anything you want to add or say?
I think there's a number of things said, but one is that engineering judgments and technical evaluations, yes, we want to drive them down, but they're always going to be a tool. There's always going to be situations where they're going to be a part of the fire stopping system. Two is that I think everybody will subscribe to this common item that exhaust all your tested listed systems first. As Matt Winston has pointed out with some of the newer technologies, that's awfully hard because there's limited things. But technical evaluations provides an important feedback loop back to manufacturers so they know how to invest in R&D and development. Contrary to popular belief, we do not tell people what to test. It's generally what people bring to us. And then we discuss what to test, how to get the most out of the testing. And then finally, the technical evaluation program, it's not mandatory, but it is a key commitment by a number of manufacturers today and then over the past few years to try to do something to continue to improve the quality of fire stopping. And it's not just a US item. When we talk to our customers, it's a global item. Fire stopping is a key part of passive fire protection. It's a very important part of compartmentalization. And this program, like certification and everything else, will only drive for a better life safety and better passive fire protection going forward.
All right, thank you. Julio?
I think we covered it all for the most part. I mean, and Matt just, kind of hit the important points there. I mean, I think that the important part here is that, we're doing this because we really think that it's going to benefit everyone. If we didn't see value in it, we wouldn't be investing all this time and effort into it. And we look at you all as a partner here. We really appreciate the fact that they've been able to do this, and we're going to support it as much as we can to make sure that it actually lifts the industry even further. So it's super exciting. They've been doing a great job with this, and we're going to continue to do what we can to move it forward.
Thank you. All right, Matthew Winston.
Yeah, his big takeaway for me is I really enjoy this industry for the collaboration. So, at Hilti, as I mentioned, we had Angela Nepa and then our codes and approvals director, Ed Goldhammer, really implement this program for us. And they work with many people at UL, including Matthew, many people at STI, including Julio, and many others. And so there's a great amount of collaboration really to support all of you who need to use Firestop and passive fire protection. So even, a mark of an EJ means you have to put in a little bit more effort than maybe you thought. We understand, and we're all there really working together to make that process as easy as possible for you.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys both, or all three of you, actually, for being part of this and for sharing today. We appreciate that, and I know our audience appreciates it. Our people that are involved in this industry, we appreciate, kind of like what you said, Matt, the collaboration and coming together. So thank you guys all for doing that. Just a few things as we shut down here. One of these things is we have released our new pocket guide. There were a lot of questions on EJs. Our pocket guide is a resource that is a good resource for that. If you scan this QR code right now, you can download the PDF version of that pocket guide. The PDF version will have links to all those other EJ resources and things like that in there. If you want to download it or you want to buy print copies, you can do that at firestop.org/guide. And then the other opportunity we always encourage training. We offer a free in-person live training to code officials throughout the country, 2, 4, 8-hour sessions we can do. Those actually go, especially the 8-hour has a lot of in-depth training on EJs and on the TEDP as well. So if you're interested in any of that, you can scan this QR code right now, and that'll take you right to our form where you can schedule and set one of those up, and then I'll be in touch with you and we can get that on the books. Or you can go to firestop.org and click on that AHJ tab at the top, and you can read all about those courses, what's involved, and get one of those scheduled. Finally, again, thank you attendees for being being here today. We appreciate it. This course will give you ICC CEUs, so that'll be uploaded shortly. Additionally, this webinar will be on YouTube, posted to YouTube and to our website, so you can watch it and refer and share those kind of things. So thank you guys for joining and watching, and thank you again, Matt Winston, Matt Schumann, and Julio. Thank you guys for being part. We appreciate it. You guys have a great afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you, Aaron.
Thank
Thanks
you.
all.